And welcome back to Markets at Noon. You heard from none other than Deepak Parekh of HDFC launching another IPO, which is the HDFC AMC IPO. Now, I think the management at Jindal Stainless is now with us. Mr. Anurag Mantri, Group CFO at Jindal Stainless. Firstly, congratulations on a great set of numbers. Your top line growth has been extremely strong, led by a 50% jump in the volumes. What led to this jump?
Yeah, thank you very much for this, and I'm happy that we continue to have a good growth momentum. I think you have to see it in a perspective of especially the stainless steel sector, because this is being a more value-added product and being a fastest growing metal, replacing lots of other metals and in various applications. So what we have witnessed in this quarter is that we continue to have a very strong growth from auto and railway segment, which continue to have a good growth in terms of our top line as well as EBITDA and across even at the bottom line level at PAT level.
Right. How has the average blended realization moved in Q1 versus the previous quarters, or the trend in the previous quarters?
So average realization, if you see on year-on-year basis, has increased by 3%. So again, I would say you have to look at it in a perspective basically, because in our case, if you see EBITDA per ton or EBITDA percentage, there is a slight decrease in EBITDA percentage, but EBITDA per ton also there is a minor decrease. But I think if you see in a perspective of raw material cost, which has increased during this period, especially the nickel, which is almost the key raw material for us, has increased by 12%, and some of the consumables like graphite electrodes have gone up substantially. So we managed to, there is always some time lag in terms of adjusting our sales price to that. So there is a slight decrease in terms of the margins and realizations, but we continue to maintain a good volume growth, and therefore it's reflecting in our EBITDA as well as PAT level bottom line.
Right. Sir, your margins were a bit of disappointment due to the increase in raw materials. What is the average cost of production? Can you just tell us how are you looking at the cost of production in this environment where prices of commodities are very volatile?
So you are absolutely right, and as you rightly said, the raw material prices are very volatile, and also recently some of the consumable like graphite electrodes are offshooting the pricing. So in our case, always, because these being a value-added product, always there is a price adjustment happens, and there is eventually some pass-through in some form, but always there would be a time lag. So what you see is that the raw material prices have increased, especially nickel has increased by 12%, the graphite electrode have increased on a year-on-year basis almost by 400%, but still we have the EBITDA margins have not dipped to that extent. So that's why we have managed to have a good healthy growth. But having said that, I think what we are also seeing that the imports are continue to be especially the underpriced imports from China continue to be a pressure. So if you recall, last year in September government put CVD, but now the trend we are seeing is that the Chinese imports are being routed through some of the other FTA countries like Indonesia and Malaysia, and they are finding the way in terms of in the country, and that is not having a level playing field for us. So I think it's so what we continue to see, the margins are obviously remains under certain pressures because of the
So just a last word on what's happening with the nickel prices as well. There has been a significant crack in nickel prices over the last few weeks. How are you seeing reduction in prices? Has it been passed on?
So if you see during the quarter, nickel prices touched as high as almost $15,500 per ton, and right now it's being trading at below $14,000 per ton. So we are seeing a very volatile nickel prices. So during that, obviously our price adjustment takes some time in terms of it, and depending on the customer elasticity into various grades. So that always have some time lag. But if you see, I think eventually the EBITDA drop is not in that line with the nickel price increase. So it gives a positive indication in terms of how we are maintaining our cost efficiencies and the margins.
Right. Thank you so much, Anurag, for telling us about what happened in the previous quarter and how things are looking going ahead. That was the management at Jindal Stainless. Strong set of numbers. I think the stock opened up pretty strongly in the morning, but is down 2% right now, maybe because of what's happening with the market conditions.